Cherry tomatoes weren't a thing until the 1970s, when the owner of Marks & Spencer, the British grocery store chain, asked growers to come up with a better tomato with a sweeter flavor and longer shelf life. Today, you can find a variety of cherry tomatoes in most supermarkets, and Brian's going to show us how to make the most of them in a simple salad.
Yeah, I actually love cherry tomatoes quite a bit. I especially love a salad like this that takes a few simple key ingredients and treats them in a special way to make a really fantastic side dish. So today we're going to treat our tomatoes in a special way. We're going to char them on the stovetop.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, in a cast iron skillet. So we're going to preheat our cast iron skillet over medium heat for 10 minutes until it's nice and ripping hot. While that's heating up, we're going to make our dressing. We want to make a really assertive, potent dressing for this salad. So we're going to begin by chopping up some garlic. We're just going to do a coarse chop on it. And then we're going to mash this garlic into a paste. To make it into a paste, we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt.
Yeah, that salt almost acts like sandpaper to help break down the garlic.
Yeah, so we're just going to start on the corner of it and really start massaging the salt into the garlic. This is a great technique for getting the most out of a single clove of garlic. And if you do this in a lot of other recipes, you always want to start with less garlic than you think you might need because it gets really, really pungent.
It gets pungent, but it also rounds out the flavor, I feel like. You can eat it raw and it's not too hot.
Nice garlic paste like that.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And so we're going to add that to our dressing bowl. And we can add 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil.
And this is the point where you want to use your good olive oil.
Absolutely. And then we're going to add 1 tablespoon plus 2 teaspoons of red wine vinegar.
Just the right amount?
Just the right amount. Don't mess around with that amount. And then 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. So you notice I'm using 2 different acids in this vinaigrette, and that's because both contribute a certain particular flavor that really elevates the salad. On top of that, we're going to add 3 minced anchovies. Now, I know you probably think this is going to make the dressing taste like really fishy or something, but it doesn't. It really, because of the charred tomatoes and all the other ingredients we're adding, it really just boosts the umami quotient in the salad considerably. So don't skimp on those. 2 teaspoons of minced fresh thyme, 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes.
Oh, you're not holding back. That's some spice right there.
We're going to have a strong dressing here. And then 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika.
Ooh.
So this is just enough paprika and enough smokiness to kind of really accentuate the char. It's not enough to overwhelm the salad, but to really bring out the char on these vegetables. Finally, 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt.
So you use salt twice there, once for the garlic and then once again in the dressing.
Correct. And we're just going to mix that up.
That even looks like a potent dressing.
We should try it.
I kind of want to. Is that all right?
Taste, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's delicious.
Yeah, it should be sharp enough that you're like, wow, my eyes are going to pop out of my head in a second.
But the fragrance of the thyme really comes through. I wasn't expecting that.
It's a really nice dressing. So we can set that aside, and our skillet is nearly ready. So we're going to toss our cherry tomatoes. I have 1 pound of cherry tomatoes here. We're going to toss them with 2 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil.
I like the prep on those.
Yeah.
No prep.
0, yeah. And 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. We'll just give that a quick toss.
You've done this before. That bowl action is not for novices.
It's a pro move. It's a pro move. So now the skillet is really hot. You can see it's starting to give off little hints of smoke.
Oh yeah, you can see just the wisps.
Yeah. We could drop our tomatoes into the skillet, and we want to let those go for a good 4 minutes or so, and without stirring them. We want to develop a real nice char on one side of the tomatoes. After that, we'll give them a quick stir and let them finish cooking for about 2 more minutes to soften up. So while that's going on, we can prep our bell pepper.
I love watching someone cut up a pepper because I have a very distinct way I do it. You're doing it the way I like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I change it all the time at home.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I'm like, what's the better way? I'm still trying to figure out what the best way is.
Oh, I like this way because when you're at this point, you have a nice flat sheet. You can do anything you want.
Yeah.
You can throw it on a grill. You can chop it up for a salad. You can do a stir fry.
We just want to cut this into thin strips. You know, a lot of people say that this white part on the inside
It's bitter.
tastes bitter.
I don't think so.
I've never noticed that myself.
Yes.
I'm glad we could agree on that. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, and if it's less prep and a little bit easier, I'm all for it.
Okay, so we can put these peppers in the same bowl that we used for the tomatoes.
Ah, and you're saving on dishes.
Yeah, absolutely. See that? We're going to treat them the same way as the tomatoes. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil and 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt.
You're adding salt in different places and oil in different places so that everything's evenly seasoned and evenly coated.
It makes a big difference. You can't add all this salt right at the end. It won't taste the same. So you're
right.
building layers of flavor throughout the salad. All right, so these tomatoes have just about another minute to go before we give them a quick stir. It's been about 4 minutes, and we're going to give the tomatoes a light stir just to kind of soften them on the second side. And it's okay if the tomatoes begin to burst at this stage, you know, because that'll add a little bit of juiciness to that really potent vinaigrette. So we're gonna let this go for another 2 minutes just to soften the tomatoes a little further, and then we can throw in our peppers.
All right.
Our tomatoes are ready to come out and go right into our dressing.
Those look beautiful.
So these will leach out a little bit of the juice, and they'll also begin to absorb the flavors of that vinaigrette. If you want to take the rubber spatula there and just give them a light toss.
You want me to be careful not to bust them up?
Exactly.
Okay.
Just toss them just to coat them. So while our skillet is still hot, we're going to add our bell peppers. We'll spread them into an even layer and cook them pretty much the same as the tomatoes. We'll let them go for 4 minutes without stirring until you get a nice little char-kissed side.
Char-kiss.
It's a very romantic
I
sound.
like it.
Okay, Julia, it's been 4 minutes. We're going to give these a nice little stir.
Ooh.
Just to mix them around and try to cook the second side. We're really looking to just kind of cook them through a little further. We're not trying to char the second side. And one of the great things about this salad is that you're going to get this variety of textures. So between these al dente bell peppers, the soft mozzarella, these squishy tomatoes, it's really nice. Okay, it's been another 2 minutes on these peppers. We can shut off the heat. And we're just going to add them to our vinaigrette with the tomatoes. Give them a light toss with that rubber spatula just to make sure they're evenly coated. So because we're going to be adding mozzarella to this later on, we want to let it sit for a good 30 minutes to cool off because we don't want the mozzarella to melt when it hits the salad. You can actually let this sit for up to 2 hours, but we'll let it sit for 30 minutes, come back and add the mozzarella and basil. So our salad has had a chance to sit and cool down for 30 minutes, and now we can add our final dose of ingredients. So we have a half cup of basil leaves that we're going to tear into coarse 1-inch pieces and add those.
Oh, that looks fun.
Yeah, jump on in.
I love tearing fresh basil. This is how I like to do basil.
Yeah.
I don't like chopping it up into grass clippings.
No, I'm the
I
same
like
way.
ripping it with my hands.
You get these big bursts of flavor,
Yeah.
and visually it looks really nice as
Yep.
well. On top of that, we're going to add 8 ounces of fresh mozzarella. And rather than cut this mozzarella with our knife and make clean cuts, we're going to tear it into bite-sized pieces. The great thing that this tearing does is it creates all these nooks and crannies within the mozzarella that really absorb the dressing. So
That's really clever.
Yeah.
I actually don't think to do that. I always just slice it into rounds.
I actually threw away all my knives in my kitchen, so I just use my hands now. So you're just looking for like 1 inch or so bite-sized pieces.
About like that?
It's perfect. Gently toss all this together. We're just trying to coat everything. Again, taking care not to burst those tomatoes, but we want to coat all the ingredients nicely. All right, so now we are ready to transfer it to our serving platter. You can see it's like visually a really beautiful salad.
Stunning.
It's just one of those things where we didn't do much, but we just made a few key choices with how we treated the ingredients.
Yeah, you treated each ingredient with care.
Yeah, what do you think? You ready to dive
Yes,
into it?
am I?
All right, so I'm gonna serve us up a couple, and I'll give you a little serving.
A little serving. You can ramp that up to a medium to large serving.
Give you a little drizzle.
Yes, please.
How about let's break bread together? Let's dig in. That's way better than it should be, right? Such a great
I have
salad.
never had a cherry tomato salad taste this good.
I love this thing so much.
Well, the little bit of char on the tomatoes and the peppers really brings them to life. And all their flavors meld with that dressing. Oh, and then the mozzarella.
Then the mozzarella.
The bread sopping up that sauce. Brian, this is terrific.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. To make Brian's killer tomato salad, get a cast iron skillet ripping hot. Don't stir the vegetables as they char, and let the vegetables marinate in the dressing for at least 30 minutes. From Cook's Country, charred cherry tomatoes with bell peppers and mozzarella.
Thanks for watching Cook's Country from America's Test Kitchen. So what'd you think?
Leave a comment and let us know which recipes you're excited to make, or just say hi.
Now you can find links to today's recipes and reviews in the video description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you later.
Alligator.